r/NoSleep. Posted by u/rebelclifford. I never opened my door at night again. Upon a bitterly cold night in the middle of December, there was tender knock upon my door gone midnight. The sound withdrew me from a deep slumber. I begrudgingly hauled myself to the door to have a look at who might be standing there knocking gone midnight on such a bitter night. What I saw standing on my porch was a sight that I had not expected. Standing there was two young children, one young girl who appeared to be around the age of 6 and the other a young boy, who I would assume to be the older of the two, around the age of 13. I looked at them in pure horror. My brain could not understand why they would be outside in a winter storm. They were only dressed in jeans and a hoodie, no gloves, hats or a coat. I had this sinking feeling in the depths of my stomach. "Please, could we use your phone to call our parents? We are so cold," a voice whimpered from the other side of my door, foolishly wrenched my door open. I looked down at these two children. I took note that not once have I seen their eyes. The hoodies which they had on had been covering their eyes. I cleared my throat. "Where are your parents?" I could hear my voice waver from fear. This is when both of the children seemingly lifted their gazes from the floor to meet mine. I almost cried out in sheer alarm. The eyes of the children. They were as black as a starless universe, like the iris had bled into the rest of the eyeball. When I didn't move or make a sound, this time the girl repeated their question about coming inside and using my phone. I began to step to the side and let them into my house. I tried to stop myself, but for some reason, my limbs refused to cooperate with my brain, which was screaming at me to not let them and slam the door shut. It was like looking into the children's eyes. They now had complete control over what I did. These children slowly began to enter my home. No sooner had they done this, than the feeling of pure terror began to spread throughout my whole body. I was starting to shake. I led them both towards my phone that had been laying on the small table I had placed next to the armchair upon which I was sleeping before the children arrived upon my doorstep, begging to come inside. When I moved to reach for my phone, I noticed that one of these children was now standing behind me, with the most menacing look on their features. I believed that they could most likely smell or at least taste my fear. It was almost paralyzing. No, it was. I took a moment to regain my composure. It felt like time had been slowed down, and I was moving in slow motion. Eventually, I faced the two children again. I handed the girl my phone, unlocked and opened the phone app ready for them to use to call their parents. I needed to escape for even just a second. With my voice trembling, I asked them both if they would like a hot chocolate. Once I made it into my small kitchen, hidden away from the living room, I took a second to compose my thoughts, and turned to put the kettle on when the power went out. I just thought that maybe the storm had cut the power out. It has happened before. Not once did I think that these children might have had anything to do with it. But to be safe, I turned around just enough to look through the doorway into the living room, to try and see if the children were still where I left them, which they were. This helped to prove my earlier thought that it was the storm which caused the power cut. During this time, I had completely forgotten about my girlfriend and dog who were asleep down the hall. I was almost glad that they were not here to witness what was happening. You see, my girlfriend was big on all of this paranormal stuff. She loved it. As I thought about this, I could hear my dog whimpering, which soon shifted to a snarl. This was unusual. My pup was normally a very quiet and gentle dog. She would never hurt a soul. I could hear movement from down the hall and in the living room. Sheer panic spread through my body. I only hoped that she would not come out of the room, for I have no clue what would happen if she did. This is when one of the children called out, "Our parents are here," with that they both walked straight out my front door. I quickly sprinted towards it. As I was about to slam the door shut, I decided to take a quick look outside, and that's when I saw two very tall, skinny figures at the end of my drive. I never noticed them before, but I assumed that I might not have seen them because I was too busy worrying about the two children on my doorstep. The four figures got inside a black car and drove off into the night. The next morning, I was exhausted, as after my encounter I could not fall back asleep. I was terrified that they would return. I told my girlfriend about my encounter that I had and how I felt that I could not control my body during the whole encounter. She then told me that not only did she know exactly what I was talking about, but that last night, she had woken up with pure anxiety running through her body. She said that her blood ran cold for some reason. She had briefly mentioned in passing that she had a nosebleed the same night, which was what eventually woke her up in the first place. Eventually, my life carried on like normal. I haven't seen anything else from these children, but I am plagued with nightmares. I am now paranoid about the dark, and having to leave the house in it or even look out the window at night in fear of seeing these children again. r/rules horror. Posted by u/just guy. Out camping by yourself? Follow these rules if you want a chance at living. Decided to go camping alone, huh? Here's the rules if you forgot. Rule 1. Park your car close to your campsite. You need an emergency hiding place. Make sure to have something to cover up your car windows. It doesn't matter what type of car it is, just make sure you can cover the windows and it runs. Always come with a car. Rule 2. If the crickets stop making noise at any time, hide in your tent until the noise comes back for at least 60 seconds. If you don't hide in your tent within 10 seconds of sound stopping, it will get you. Don't try to wait and hurt it in any way. You cannot fight back, your death will just be more painful. Rule 3. Don't stay up past 1 a.m. outside. Try to get to your tent at least 5 minutes before 1 a.m. If you stay up later, you need to open your tent. This also goes for if you didn't stay up past 1 a.m. If you feel a sense of uneasiness at all, stay in your car and follow the rest of these steps. Rule 4. Make sure your tent is fully locked and nothing can see in and you can't see out. If you're stuck in your car, lock the doors and cover your windows. You don't want it to see you, and you sure don't want to see it. You also want to stay in the middle of your tent, away from the sides. Rule 5. You will hear sounds from around 2:10 a.m. to 8 a.m. Do not respond to these sounds nor try to scare the noises away. You will hear things such as banging, knocking, voices of people you know, screaming, walking, crying, growling, sometimes even guns. Sounds vary for if you're in a tent or car. If you're in a car, you may hear banging on any part of your car. In a tent, you may hear it scratching on the sides. Whatever you do, do not respond to any voices or noises, you will die. Rule 6. Try and sleep before 3 a.m. If you're unable to fall asleep before 4 a.m., don't sleep at all. You'll be hearing noises. The following rules for noises will be told below. If you hear voices, do not respond to what it asks you. You may hear voices of family/friends. It is not them. If it tells you it knows you're in there, don't respond. If you hear it trying to unlock your car door, you have a high chance of dying. If you want to live this, grab any sort of weapon and wait in front of the door it is trying to open. On the 20th try of opening the door, it will open it. You need to hit it as hard as you can or shoot it. You now have 10 minutes to get out of the forest. Start your car, turn the brights on. Start driving and don't stop until you are at somewhere safe, like a gas station or your house. This will never happen if you're in your tent. Rule 7. If you wake up before 8 a.m., do not go back to sleep. Do this first. You need to look out of your tent or car for no more than 30 seconds. If the sky is red, then you need to stay awake until 8 a.m. If you look outside after 8 a.m. and it's still a red sky, then get on your phone and call 911. Tell them the sky is still red, it is past 8 a.m. and I need to be brought to safety. If your phone is dead, you are screwed. The police will come and get you. If the sky is green, you need to go back to bed. If you don't, it will get you. You will be able to fall asleep and you will wake up at 8:10. If the sky is blue, you are safe to go outside or go back to sleep. Rule 8. You must leave before 9 p.m. If you don't, you will have to repeat the night. If you try to leave after 9 p.m., your car won't start. If you walk, it will find you and end you. Rule 9. Do not go back to the forest you camped in within the week you left. If you had to drive away in the night, never return to the forest you camped in. If you do, it will remember you and you won't have a chance. It doesn't matter if you went on foot into it, you will die. Rule 10. If you start hearing noises when you try and sleep at your house after camping, do not get up, do not respond to any voices. Go to sleep, it cannot go into your room. If you wake up before 8 a.m., refer back to Rule 7 and do everything there. When you are safe, go to any other place to and live there for the next week, then go back to your house. If the noises come back, repeat this rule until it's gone. When the police bring you to safety, they will take you to the police station. They will question you about your time in the forest. Do not lie about anything. They will repeat to you Rule 6. They will take you to your house and tell you Rule 10. If you don't have anywhere to stay, the police will allow you to stay.